So today I want to share with you how you can build and learn how to sell your expertise when it comes to building your newsletter and your one-person business. Now, for you to be able to do this, there is a process that you need to follow in order for you to not only acquire people's details when it comes to them sharing their email, but also for you to verify that email is legit, and from there try to have a conversation with them and a back and forth communication where you can build momentum, you can build the trust, you can build the like, and from there make an offer to them as well. So with this, I'm going to share with you the system that can help you produce potentially 10K per month. And I say potentially because it differs a lot on the way you present yourself and the offer that you sell. But the idea will be to follow the sequence. I'm giving you an example here of an illustration where you can clearly see that there is a $77 option. That option is basically, I would say, something you can start with, and it's an idea of a newsletter that you can charge like a premium pricing for. It does not, it's not there for you to think that it has to be that amount or you mandatory have to sell a subscription. But the idea will be if someone is jumping onto your newsletter and from there you want to sell them something, ideally you want to try to help them out when it comes to giving them a premium newsletter so that they can get more proximity to you. Either it's through a workshop, either it's through a course, it's through a program or something else. Okay, now there are, I would say, 5 triggers that you can close a sale. Okay, so those 5 triggers, if we think about it in the sense of tripwires, or if we think in the sense of sequences, those are the things that will allow you to be able to understand what the audience needs and wants, and from there craft an offer to pitch them. So if you look at the list here, it talks about the double opt-in. Okay, that is crucial because you want to verify people that are on your email list. A lot of entrepreneurs do not put double opt-in, and the simple reason they don't have double opt-in is because they want to get as many emails as possible. But logically, people will fake emails. So a large section of their list, or a large portion, is spam emails. Okay. Now, second, you want to add a survey. Okay, because a survey will qualify the leads, who they are, what they struggle with, what caliber of leads are you getting. And you have options within the Beehiiv platform, which I personally use in order for me to build out the system, and from this as well try to have like an ecosystem of where I can offer those leads. The third is to have a lead magnet that caters towards the survey, meaning if people within the survey are saying to you they have leg pain, they struggle with leg pain, they need help with it, etc. Logically, you don't want to give them a headache, a headache lead magnet. Ideally, you want to create a lead magnet based on their leg pain. So logically, you want them to be able to get the information they need in order to solve their problem. Third will be to launch products. Okay, so after you've done your survey, after you confirm their, a double opt-in email, after you give them the lead magnet and your emails needs to push them to looking at your product, meaning they saw whatever ad you had or social media content you had, or they saw your link somewhere. They decided to become a newsletter subscriber. From the newsletter subscriber, getting their lead magnet, getting your emails, so they need to see your offer. That should be the natural flow of your sequence. And based on this, they can then ascend to the higher backend. Higher backend means you have a partnership with them where you work with them towards getting a profit share or something like that from their business. Ideally, if you're just doing consulting or mentorship, you're just telling them what to do, and everything is, based, everything they do as a profit is for them. You don't get a portion of it, just pay you for it. But ideally, if you want to do a partnership, you can also do a partnership on the higher end backend. Why do I say partnership? Because then you don't need to have volume of clients. You only need a handful of clients. And then as they grow, your income grows as well. Okay, but you help them with certain key specific things. Now, if you want to build an audience of an email list, what I would recommend you is to post daily on one single platform. If, for example, you're doing YouTube, probably you can want to post like 2 to 3 times per week. Okay, ideally posting 2 times, it's a start. And then maybe at the 3rd to 5th month, between the 3rd and the 5th month, you want to slow down a bit to just doing once a week or twice a week. That's it. But if you start at twice a week and you stay with twice a week for the rest of, I would say, the year or two, you will start seeing that, hey, your audience start growing And hopefully, based on those contents, you will start targeting keywords that are related as well to those things. Okay? Now, as I talked about the survey, you want to check their current status, the problems and pains, and the desired outcome. Why is that crucial and important? Is because the idea is for you to be able to address what it is that you want to talk about first. Second, where they are within the entire process of them getting the outcome. And third, what is it that you can offer them? If you can offer them anything that has to do with their solution, they're more likely going to buy it, or at least try to acquire information about it. But if you don't offer them something that is congruent, they're not going to be able to buy it. So ideally, you want to try to focus on the survey part, and then you want to go into the lead magnet. So with the survey, you get a clear understanding what type of lead magnet you want to create and what is the problems they're in, so that you can craft your lead magnet to fit their needs and wants. Okay, so for example, if someone is starting out and just, let's say they're using in the word or the industry of trading. If someone is starting out, they don't know how to trade, they don't know what platform to use, they don't know what budgets to start with, or they don't know what has to do with looking at the charts, they don't know the trading fundamentals, etc., etc. You have to put all that into the PDF. Logically, you don't want to bombard them. You have to make sure that the information you're putting is very practical, very easy to understand, and very superficial. You don't go too deep in it. So in that way, you see that their understanding of it is going to be much more quicker, much more simpler, and then they know exactly what step to make. If you make the PDF too complicated, too in-depth, it's not going to work out for them. So if you want to make something in-depth, ideally you would do it only for the coaching or the course you're trying to sell. Or you can do a YouTube video going much more in-depth within your sequence of emails. Because then, again, you can nurture the audience with the video to build trust. And then you want to launch your product. So once you know what it is that they want, once you know what if they're downloading your email, what they're using, etc., then you can solve one problem with your product. You can provide them one solution, okay? And you can leverage one system. So for me, it's the system of newsletter ecosystem, where I use Beehiiv platform, as I said previously, in order for me to build that ecosystem, where I give them the premium newsletter, I give them referral gifts, I give them PDFs, I give them products they can purchase, etc. Everything is built in the platform. So ideally, if you're thinking of starting, I highly recommend you do the max or the scale plan. You'll find a link in the description below this video, and this will allow them to be able to not only acquire a platform that they can build for the long term, but also charge them something very low at the beginning. If you compare to any other platform, Beehiiv has the most well-built ecosystem to be able to do it, not only to have a freedom lifestyle, income lifestyle, but also the ability to automate everything. Okay, so you don't run your business with friction, but you run it frictionless. So if you go from low ticket to high ticket offer, kind of have an idea here how you can do it. First of all, you have the high ticket, 3K and above. Okay, so you want to do either coaching, consulting, mentoring, agency service, or a collaboration. You have the mid ticket, 1 to 3K, or you have the low ticket. Okay, anything below $1,000. So this means that you can either start low and work your way high, or you can start high and work your way low, depending on what type of offer you're trying to pitch them. So the math is very simple. Let's say you have a low ticket at 97. You basically need 3 sales per day to get to 10K. Now, the math is simple. Explaining it is simple. Building it out is also simple if you have the guidance. Like in this case, I give you a full map in order to do it. But doing it is a different thing. Why? Because when you start doing it, when you start driving traffic to your newsletter, or researching, or making videos, or creating a course, or doing anything ads related, you will start seeing it's not going to work out. Why? Because there's so many competition out there, you need to outcompete them for people's attention. So ideally what you want to do, and what is in your strength to be able to make this work, is basically 2 things. One is for you to be unique as to who you are, what is your skill, what is your expertise, and how do you want to help others with it. And 2, have a system in place. If you don't use these 2 things, you're not going to make it. And it's going to take you a lot of time to do it. And I'm talking about experience here. I'm talking about personal experience going through the process and seeing that if you don't stand out and you don't have a system, it's not going to work. Now, you can do it with one or the other, but ideally, if you start with both, meaning you share your expertise, you share your knowledge, you share your insight on certain problems or topics, and in that same process, you invite people to join you on your newsletter, ideally to get a lead magnet, etc., that solve that specific topic or problem, etc., you're talking about. It will be more likely that when they go through the process, eventually someone will accept. Someone will buy your subscription, someone will buy your course, your coaching, your mentorship. Okay, so this is the wrap of the video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I would like to know what's your perspective on these things. Other than that, if you want to work with me, there's a link below. If you want to get the Beehiiv platform as well, I would recommend you check out the link below. Other than that, you can also join my newsletter if you want to learn more. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.